Writing on the wall.
You're live.
Oh, perfect. Hi, we're professionals. You should give us money.
Please.
One of those statements is true. Hi, welcome. Refuge Medical. Freeze equals fail. Speaking of freeze.
It's cold.
Yeah, I mean, cold's a relative term.
It is.
You know, a lot of our people from the South right now are like, oh my gosh, it's 19 degrees outside. And then our people from the North are like, you know, I walked uphill barefoot in 3 feet of snow to school both ways. It took me 6 hours to get to the schoolhouse, 6 hours to get back, and then I had to do my chores when I got home.
In the dark.
In the dark, that's right, before headlamps were invented. So we ate a lot of carrots because we needed the beta carotene so we could see in the dark. So everything's relative. I walked out the house this morning, and there was a dead-ass raccoon right there by my truck. So the lesbian gay dogs were doing their job last night, which is
Great
cool.
job, LGDs.
Yep. And
Wait a minute. I was like,
is that not what LGD stands for? I don't. I'm trying to be inclusive.
I thought
I
for
was like, I
sure.
don't know what Sam is
I
up
like
to nowadays.
to. I like to make sure that I can talk to all of the people, and I was pretty sure LGD meant a dog that was both lesbian and possibly gay. I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never been one of those, but I understand that it's quite possible, in fact, for a dog to be possibly both a lesbian and potentially gay. They kill a lot of raccoons. I'm very happy about this. This way, the eggs continue to come out of the butt of the chickens, and I like eggs a lot. So I'm willing to tolerate a dog that might be possibly attracted to males and or females, as long as the raccoons are dead. Mission accomplished.
Good
That's
morning.
gonna get
So
flipped.
a male dog, lesbian trapped in a male's body, totally trapped.
I don't know how they identify. They're definitely furries.
It is Thursday.
Hi.
Well, shalom.
Shalom. All right, so the concept of freeze or fail actually goes to stress inoculation,
Yes.
right? So we train a lot of people, and a lot of times what you'll see with people is, well, almost exclusively, unless they've had a significant amount of training, you know, where we're talking military units. Generally speaking, the average citizen up to average law enforcement officer, public safety member, you give them an immediate stimulus, and then they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And they think, we think that I'll just do all these things. Oh, when this happens, I'll do this. When this happens, I'll do that. The problem is the prefrontal cortex doesn't work in that situation.
No.
Your thinking brain stops. Unless you've had a lot of reps and sets, a lot of stress inoculation. If you haven't, your thinking brain stops, and then you default, you fall to whatever level of training you've already had.
Yep.
And so if you've had zero training, it's pretty rare that people problem solve incredibly well when they've had zero training. I've seen it happen, but I'd say it's probably 1 in every 1,000 students.
Pretty rare.
Yeah. It's like, who are you?
Talking about a really gifted individual,
Yeah.
to say the least.
And I haven't seen I couldn't tie it to gender or age or race or work experience. Like it's just a rare individual, probably 1 in 1,000 that just like
They've
kills
got it going on up here.
They just kill it on their first go with no experience whatsoever. For the other 999 out of 1,000, we need reps and sets.
Mm-hmm.
With all of the things that we do, the S-Smart-G algorithm, these are all time problems. It's all time sensitive.
100%.
And so you burn a lot of time when you freeze, when you lock up.
It's what we call paralysis by analysis.
Indeed, we do call it that.
Everybody says it.
So,
What are you guys on this morning?
A little drug called sleep deprivation. It's very good. Cheap as well. Not recommended.
So, paralysis by analysis. You freeze, you lock up.
Yep.
Time problems. when we run, there's certain scenarios that we run where it's like, hey, you're about to go into this situation. The person in there is your family member.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away, I've seen so many people lock up
Yep.
in that situation. And that particular scenario, you have an S problem, you have a security problem that you've got to solve so that you can then move into medicine. And the reason that scenario is designed that way is because in most situations we have a security problem to solve first, and then we get to do medicine. We don't do medicine until we've established and then we can maintain security. And I've seen hundreds of people just freeze.
Yep.
They just freeze. And everybody from cops to prepared citizens to firefighters, EMS, just average people, they stop and they're stuck. And next thing you know, and our role players, we meter out the intensity of the scenario to each individual that's in the scenario. And so it's been minutes sometimes before our role player bad guys will begin to engage. Minutes. And then finally they're like, all right, I'm gonna shoot this person. Right? Snap them back to reality. And the casualty at this point has bled out and died. And they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, you froze. That's what happened. So we don't want to freeze. And the way that we don't freeze is reps and sets. We don't rise to our level of expectation. We fall to our level of training. We have a private defender one coming up, and then after that we have our first ever public defender one, which is our church security class.
Stoked about that.
Super stoked. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a great class. We have that coming up. And it's crazy when we set up scenario and we know, like the security team knows it's coming.
Yeah.
The reaction time, when they know it's coming, I'm a big stickler for time.
It's abysmal.
We have stopwatches that we carry for this, right? It's between 15 and 25 seconds.
Yeah.
When they know it's coming.
Yeah.
Before they begin to react. And by that I mean the shooter's in the sanctuary, where the security team is also in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
25 seconds is an eternity before somebody begins to return fire.
So have you ever shot with like a shot timer?
Mm-hmm.
When you break down how much can actually happen in just 3 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Or a fraction of a second.
Yep.
Sub-second draw time, and then another half second to put 3 rounds on target.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, that happened that quick.
Yeah, I mean 3 seconds, that should be a good bill drill, right? Which is
Yeah.
5 to the torso,
Yep.
to the box, right? Beep, ba 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 ba, right? And so 25 seconds. It's a long time. And we've got 4-minute problems here, both with bleeding and breathing. We've got 4-minute problems, and in reality, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It can be as quick as 2 minutes to lose 50% of your blood volume. And then once you lose 50% of your blood volume, the survivability of the casualty is now in the tank.
Yeah.
So even if we elevate to a higher level of care, it's not likely that this person survives. One of the stats that we put up on the board when we're teaching in our, we crawl, walk, run. We begin every class in the morning going through curriculum. And we do that so that by the afternoon, we have a foundation of knowledge to work from to then put that into action, right? And one of the stats in that presentation is, depending on which white papers you read, somewhere between 75 and 90% of pre-hospital traumas, trauma meaning critical bleeding, 75 to 90% of people are dead by the time they reach the hospital.
Yeah.
So even if the ambo shows up, right, and we get them on the ambulance and we move them towards a higher level of care, if we don't take immediate action, pre-hospital interventions for bleeding control, breathing control, airway management, that casualty's got a 75 to 90% chance that they're going to be dead by the time they get to the hospital. And so all that comes back to, freeze equals fail.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
had it. I don't know if you guys remember the scenario where it was the relative, and
What's up, Ed? Shalom, brother.
they
Love that guy.
they spent so long trying to figure out what to think about the role player that the casualty, who was their family member, bled out and died.
Uh-huh.
Like, and very obviously was saying, "Please, I'm fading," like, you know, like, and they just could
Mhm.
not break away from what they were doing to
Yeah.
a grade.
That's happened many a time.
Oh yeah.
Many a time. What's up, Tommy Gupta with the super chat? Appreciate you, bro. Cold weather considerations for med kits. So yeah,
Yeah.
my wife is in the chat as well. Liquids are a potential concern. Trauma components are tested as -40 and should be fine for most cold weather.
Yep.
Um,
The biggest factor you're going to find there is like the adhesive on a chest seal. All of the other medical components, they're dry. Really no legitimate concern. As far as the chest seal is concerned, like the Halo chest seal is predominantly what we saw.
mhm.
No, we do have hyphens, but the temperature range for a Halo chest seal is a bit larger than the hyphen chest seal. But with that said, it ranges all the way from -40 up to like 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So you've got a pretty large window. So if you're operating in like the -40 degrees, expect the adhesive to begin to fail on a chest seal.
And atmosphere inside of an atmosphere inside of an atmosphere.
Yep.
Right? And so chest seal comes sealed in a package. Can I put that inside of a Ziploc bag, zip top baggie, put that inside of a pack, which then lives inside of a vehicle? So I've got multiple atmospheres, all
Right.
of which is creating insulating layers, because insulation is really just trapping air. Air's an insulator, trapping air around the body or the thing we're trying to keep warm.
Yep.
But this goes back to training. That creates barriers to entry, right? So if I need a chest seal and I need it right now, I got to know where it is in the pack. I got to know that it's in the zip top bag, and just start ripping stuff, chucking stuff to get to that chest seal. Great question from Oklahoma, Texas Sheep Lady. I can't get the guys I know to move on training. Any suggestions? They seem to have normalcy bias. Yeah, so I was on the phone with an RTP, Refuge Training Partner, yesterday. What's up, Kev? And he actually has some church security classes that he's working on. And he made the comment, this one church has got a pretty large sanctuary, seats about 800 people.
Mhm.
And he said the pastor is adamant that they can have no more than 6 pistols in the sanctuary and no long guns. And he goes, how do I get him to understand that that's not going to get it done? I said, well, it's real simple. Train them.
Mhm.
Train them. Because when one guy with a rifle walks in to a room that has 800 people in it and starts shooting, and you can use the Umarex 43 caliber rubber ball pistols,
Yeah.
right? And because simunitions are great, they dent walls, and most churches don't really want their walls dented.
Yeah.
Paintball, also great. You can use airsoft as well. If you're on a budget, get a few decent airsoft guns. Make sure everybody has eye protection. But churches don't really like their stuff messed up. They don't want paintball marks on the wall and dents in
Right.
the wall and the whole nine. It's just reasonable. It's understandable. And the
Justifiable.
best place to train a church security team is in their church.
Yep.
Right? Number one, home turf advantage.
Yep.
Number two, the problems are consistent across the board. It doesn't matter what church it is, but the specific idiosyncrasies of how to clear your building, where the points of entry are
Yep.
and exit are on your building, where the blind spots are, et cetera, fatal funnels. That's you want to train them in their building on their home turf. So the last church security class that we did, the pastor, after our first iteration of the scenario, great guy, a really great pastor.
Oh yeah, solid
But-
team.
Yeah, and he's behind the dais, the podium up on the stage, and the gunfire starts, and he's bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. And so at one point, he just crouches down behind the podium, which is concealment, not cover. Okay?
Yep.
5.56 rounds are going to go right through that.
Yep.
And afterwards, he goes, I've never felt more helpless in my life. I said, well, do you normally carry a gun? And he said, you know, I did for a while, but then since we've got the security team, I stopped carrying my pistol because, you know, I've got my other guys and they can handle it. He said, but I realized when the shooter came in, I could see everything from my vantage point up on stage. I could see everything. But there was nothing that I could do because I didn't have my gun on me.
Yep.
And I looked at him and I said, hey, you read the Bible, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, and he shall shepherd them with a rod of iron. He's like, yeah. I said, where's your rod of iron? You're the shepherd, right? You're
Yep.
the pastor. And he's like, oof. And so getting them to train, we want to borrow a phrase from Saul, break them out of these myopic paradigms that they're stuck in. We have these preconceived notions of how it's going to go. And we ran that same scenario with that same church group in the same church with everybody in the same position over and over and over and over and over again. And they knew the shooter was coming. This is one shooter,
Yep.
not multiple, one shooter. They knew it was coming. And you would think on the second iteration, we're going to be immediately better than the first. No, because it's never the same. It's never the same. And part of that is to reveal where there's gaps in the planning and capability.
Yeah, absolutely.
But my point here is that pastor realized immediately, oh, not only do my guys need more training, I need more training. I need to be carrying my weapon, right? And so Kevin, the RTP I was on the phone with yesterday, he goes, how do I get this pastor to understand that 6 Glocks in a room that holds 800 people isn't enough? I said, real simple. Go run it. Go run it.
Yeah.
Because you'll see real quick, and then you'll have the data to show what we thought was going to work isn't going to work. I'm a huge proponent of rifles for church security.
Yep.
You need the appropriate rounds, and you need accuracy. And the standard here is 3x5 index card.
Yep.
And it's much easier to hit a 3x5 index card with a rifle than it is with a pistol, especially at any great distance.
Significantly easier.
And the reason for that is we got switches and timers. You got one switch and everything else is a timer. And the switch is right here. It's this eye box, because behind this eye box, you have the brain stem. And so if you hit the brain stem with enough force, it
Out.
turns somebody off.
Yep.
And so and everything else is a timer, because we have our it's a hydraulic system.
Yeah.
Our heart, our tubes, our blood, all that's a hydraulic system. You need to leak enough hydraulic fluid out of the system, which takes time. 2 minutes on a good hit, which is an eternity. Okay? It takes time for that person to actually lose consciousness, no longer be a combatant. And if you've been to class, we talk about restabilization of blood pressure, reoxygenation, perfusion of the brain, how somebody who's down isn't necessarily down. There's intricacies to it. So to answer Texas Sheep Lady's question here, the reason people suffer from normalcy bias is because nobody has broken them out of their normalcy bias. And so I would think about Texas Sheep Lady. I know you're a pretty assuming young lady. I think that you could probably set up your own little scenario, your own little ambush, and be like, ha, got you guys. You need to train. You need to train, and here's why. Because we run the same scenario, rep after rep after rep after rep after rep after rep, and it's never the same. And the learning is constant. I mean, we've done the MVA scenario that we do in the Responder 2 class.
God knows how many times.
How many times have we run that scenario? Thousands?
Yeah.
Thousands.
It's got to be.
No two have ever been the same.
Not a single one.
And the setup is always the same. All the conditions for the scenario are always set up the same way. And it's never been the same way twice. So we think, right, and see, everybody wants to have a checklist. Everybody wants to have a protocol.
Yep.
That doesn't work. That's why we use algorithms pre-hospital medicine. That's
Too many variables to have protocol in a situation like that.
And it, like, even if we look at T-Tri-C, like, The care management plan in the care under fire phase, aka phase 1, is to return fire. Okay? So that's very basic. If somebody's shooting at us, we shoot back at them. But what about medicine? We don't do medicine until we have security. So we have to establish fire superiority. Then, what medicine do we do in care under fire while bullets are flying? Self-aid, tourniquets only, if we can. And we can also direct other casualties. If Heath and I are both shooting and I get hit in the arm, Heath can say, yo, throw a tourniquet on that. But Heath doesn't put a tourniquet on me. We don't do that until we enter the second phase, which is tactical field care.
Priority number one in that situation is neutralize the threat.
Right. And how we neutralize, there's no checklist for how we neutralize the threat, but it should be based upon the principles of fire and maneuver. Which again gets back to, if you're not training, everybody thinks it's going to go down this way. You know,
I mean, when we train law enforcement, we teach down, disarm, detain, and how many law enforcement officers have we seen? Oh, he's down, but how many law enforcement officers get killed by dead men?
a third, 1 in 3.
Right.
1 in 3.
Because
and-
they fail to disarm and detain.
Yep. And these are cops. You know, when we train cops, we take their lethal and their less lethal from them, but we don't take their lights and their restraints from them.
Yep.
Right? And then we replace their lethal with one of our blue guns.
Yep.
And less lethal, like, I don't want to get tased while we're training. I don't want to get sprayed with mace. I don't want to get batoned. So we take that stuff away.
Right.
But we give them a blue gun, some magazines, and they get to keep their light and their restraints. And they fail to use them. Over and over and over again, they fail to use them. And they're calling down on somebody, oftentimes, as they're shooting them. The bad guy's still up. He's down, he's down, he's down. No, he's not. He's not down. And we don't have down until they're down, disarmed, and detained.
Yep.
Because if you don't take their hands from them, they're going to continue to try and hurt you. If you don't take their weapon from them, they're going to continue to try and hurt you.
Yep.
And so all these little building blocks of what a good response looks like, you don't have reps and sets on that until you train it. And so how do I get my guys who won't train to train? You have to shatter their myopic paradigm.
100%.
And oh, is it scratchy?
Yeah, well, somebody said audio for building. So, can you ask them if they have 5x5? I don't know if it's just.
How's that sound, y'all?
Can I get a 5x5 in the chat? Can you guys hear us? What's up, Chicken Farmer? Striker says we're good. Beartron, what's up, man? Quote, there's no such thing as a textbook trauma. Medic Mike, Refuge. That's correct.
I've got 5x5 complete.
Exactly. And then Iridium. There's also no such thing as a textbook trauma response.
100%.
So that
It's all variables.
All right, Bear's a little quiet. Can you click his up?
How am I a little quiet? Me? I'm a little quiet?
How do I do this?
Touch me.
Touch.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, which button is it?
That's the spot.
It's this one. There it is.
We are
All
so...
right, now you should be loud.
Got you good.
We're so good at this.
Surprising that.
Yeah. There you go.
Does that help? All right. So, boo boo boo, boo doo boo. Protocols are for government agencies to protect themselves and their employees against public liability. Chicken Farmer. Yep. All right. Another concept of freeze versus fail. You fight with what you brought.
Yeah.
That's what you have to fight with. And so if you didn't brought enough,
If you don't have it, you don't have it. Like, what are you going to do?
What you brought?
Which is also, the idea of like, oh, well, I'm going to
that's airsoft. That's not a weapon.
improvise.
I don't think we can even show that.
Sure we can.
I mean, yes, we are free to do so off the
This
air.
is a miracle.
Here in America, we speak American.
That's right. Americanese.
That's right.
That's a fire starter brick. because it's cold outside.
It's not a snack.
It's a cool part
not-
of the EDC.
You could eat it if you wanted to.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it. Look at that slick kit.
What
That
is
is-
that?
That's sexy.
What's the black thing?
That's a picklock.
That'd be a cool
This is a
class.
pretty good one
Can we
too.
do that for continued education one Thursday?
You want to do
I
that?
want to learn how to pick locks.
Okay. For sure.
How much is this set,
Man, I don't even know anymore. Have you seen what Silver's been doing?
bro?
It's probably
It
$9,000.
hit like $97 yesterday.
I know.
That was wild.
So, here's another thing: myopic paradigms. Right? We were in Georgia, training a law enforcement agency there, and the place that we were training at is it's owned by the county, and they have their police academy there. And so there's at any one point half a dozen different agencies working at this county facility.
Yep.
And so the agency that we were working with, there's an area that used to be a range, super cool. It was a 50-meter pistol range for the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta.
Such an awesome location.
Super, super cool. Which has now been secured for further refuge training. Super cool.
Do it.
They asked us when we were there, and a brief aside, they asked us when we were there, like, what do we got to do to get you guys back to train? I was like, well, we'll come up with a contract, but as part of that, I want use of this facility to train public classes in 1 day per week when I'm here.
Yep.
And they were like, bet. We'll do a $1 per year sublease. I was like, sold. So that's awesome. It's a great, I mean, you want to do some CQB?
Oh,
Great,
man.
great place. Nooks and crannies and level changes and just close. There's 0-meter shots and 50-meter shots, and it's just awesome. So anyway, we're going into that facility to do some training in there on one of the days that we were there, and one of the other agencies had locked the locks to that place. And so they're getting on the phone and the radio, and they're like, oh, we'll talk about phone and radio here in a minute.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, we got to call Jim. He's got the key and the blah, blah, blah. I was like,
Yep.
all right, guys, hold on. Let's see. I want this
5
turner.
seconds later.
I want this turner right here, and I want this. That's the pick right there. Hold on, guys. Click. And they were like, these are professional law enforcement officers. And this was their response.
How did you do that?
They're like, did you just pick that lock? Uh-huh. You can just do that? I was like, yeah, this is how secure your facility is. And they're, what? and me and the 3 guys I brought with me, we have killed every one of your officers at least 3 times.
At least.
And so this goes back to the concept of, right, shattering these myopic paradigms.
Yeah.
We think that we're safe. We think that we're squared away. We think that we've got it. I was just texting with a dear friend this morning. You know, he's like, man, I hope you have a great day, man. You know, be out there, you know, use your voice, shine your light. Matt from The Voice by Matt. Great dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm about to go for my run in Central Park. And I'm like, are you in New York City right now? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, be safe. Go home. Go back to Kansas where you're from. Why are you in New York? And he's like, I'm an in-person podcast guest today. I was like, okay, next time you Zoom. Okay, like, and so it's
Just don't go to that place.
it's funny. Oh man, Agent 55. It's funny how some of us know what the real world's capable of, and some of us don't. And it's oftentimes frustrating when you know the bad things that can happen, that do happen, and people that you love are just like, they might have mental assent to the idea that, yeah, a bad thing could happen. But it's very different to be intervening on that bad thing with your own 2 hands right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're like, they're just 2 different worlds. And then we were talking about this at a training meeting yesterday. I don't know how many MVAs, motor vehicle accidents, I've responded to. It's dozens. And standing around professional responders, like there's one car wreck on I-45 in Texas, and ejection from the vehicle, people thrown everywhere, vehicle, semi, the whole nine. And I'm like, hey, have we taken vitals on these people yet? And there's 6 firefighters, professional firefighters, and 4 EMTs, and half a dozen law enforcement officers, and a paramedic chief guy. I don't know if he's a paramedic or what. But I said, hey, have we taken their vitals yet? And they look at me and go, you can take vitals? Well, yeah, I grabbed my EMT bag out of the truck. They go, can you do the vitals?
Really?
What? We got millions of dollars in rolling stock here.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that have been invested into the training of these people. And a random bystander, me, who shows up with my Refuge EMT bag, I'm like, have we checked their vitals? You can do that? Yeah, bro. What does a basic vital set from Refuge cost? It's under $100.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not hard. We need a stethoscope. We need a sphygmomanometer, aka pressure cuff, pulse ox, thermometer,
Yep.
right, and a pen light. I'm like, yeah, I can, I'll do it. And that's happened. I don't know, something to that level. Like, oh my gosh, you can put tourniquets on? What?
But your arm might fall
Of
off.
course.
Okay.
No, it won't.
Okay, Joshua Wilson said, have you ever thought about doing a wilderness responder in the winter to combat hypothermia? We have the November one.
Yes,
Oh,
we're going
fun.
to touch on that in a minute. Agent 55, very excited to receive the OCFAC. I live in a community of 516 folks. Awesome. Currently in the process of getting a continuing Ready Together forum approved by council. They like the idea. I saw a recent Patreon video, but best advice for me is helpful.
First of all, good job.
Yeah, that's
That's
excellent. The best advice I can give you is that whatever you put on paper that you agree to in this council as to what your plans are going to be, you must pressure test them.
Yeah.
You must. I don't know how many times, doing grindstone stuff, the disaster relief plan is on a binder in the volunteer fire department.
Yep.
That got hit by the tornado, and now that binder's 5 counties away, and nobody knows what to do because it was all theory. Even if we had a plan, it was written down, step 1, 1A, 1B, 1C, step 2.
And nobody knew it was in the binder to begin with.
Because they never trained it.
Yep.
They never pressure tested it. And so there's a lot of things that look great on paper, and they sound great. And then you go to do it, and you're like, oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? And the little details matter, right? It might be like, as part of our firefighting response plan, we have a 2-inch trash pump, and we're going to pump out of this pond into this water buffalo or this tanker truck or whatever. And that's going to be our water source to fight these fires. Okay. When was the last time you checked the oil and changed the spark plug in the trash pump? Does it run on gasoline? How long has the gasoline been in there? Is the carburetor now full of gummy crap because the gas is old? And now even if we put fresh gas in it, it's not going to run because the carburetor's dirty. And now we got to do a carb, tear it down and rebuild. Where's the carb cleaner? Oh, by the way, stuff is on fire. And the tanker truck, is it air brakes or is it hydraulic brakes? Who knows how to drive the air brakes? When was the last time that the brakes were adjusted? Does it have diesel fuel in it? The starter, the electrical, the tires, all these little things, they're just maintenance issues. And it's like, well, who's responsible for that?
Is it cold? Did the diesel gel? Like,
Yep. All these things.
basic stuff.
Do you have the basket that goes over the suction hose when you throw it into the pond so that you're not sucking crap into the pump?
Yep.
And now we busted the pump, right? We were just down in Gunner, Texas, helping a mentor of mine and a dear brother and friend shut his shop down after 25 years in business.
Yeah.
And a house next to the shop, not immediately next to, but one block over, caught fire, fully engulfed. And so the volunteer fire department shows up.
It burned out quick.
and they start dragging hose off of the engine to connect to the fire hydrant. The fire hydrant's 6-inch and their hose is 5-inch. And they were scrambling, trying to find the adapter.
Yep.
Now, another engine showed up and it had an adapter on it and blah, blah, blah. But minutes of time while this house was burning, and the fire chief is screaming at his people. It's an all volunteer fire department. They did a great job. But do you think there should have been an AAR, after action report, after that fire that said from now on, every truck will have 2 6-inch to 5-inch reducers on it, and we'll have one here and one here, because clearly they're responsible. This is their AOR, area of responsibility. And in this area, we've got 6-inch hydrants, not 5-inch.
Yeah.
And they have 5-inch hose, right? And so all these little idiosyncrasies, we can put it on paper and it'll look great on paper. And you'll feel like doing this. Great job, man. Yeah, we handled that. It's handled. It's great. But until you do it, you don't know it. And so I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing, Agent 55. It should be more than a planning committee. Okay, you have to put it into motion. If you don't put it into motion, you don't actually know how to do it. Yep. Here's the thing with committees, man. Some committees are dangerous in this way, that the purpose of the committee is not to establish capability. It's to appear as if we've established capability.
Yep.
And so make sure that the intent is appropriate here, that you're actually establishing capability. In other words, you need buy-in from everybody who's involved beyond the paperwork process. And so that I would manage that expectation early. Hey, we're not just going to get together and do a whole bunch of good idea fairy bull crap. We're going to come up with some SOPs, and then we're going to go pressure test them. I could take this whiteboard and draw for you doctrinally what an L-shaped ambush looks like. That's way different than being able to conduct an L-shaped ambush.
100%.
So.
It's like you telling me, Lauren, I drew that L-shaped ambush, go do it. And I'd be like, what?
Because then there's variables that come into play.
Lauren's out in the woods with a stick drawing an L in the dirt.
Nailed it.
Ambushing you.
I did it. Bang, bang.
Do you
Bang,
feel
bang.
ambushed?
Because both legs have to be able to communicate to each other. And of course, when it's kinetic, you can't hear anything. So then you're dealing with like nonverbal communication.
Yep.
Hey, this is
And then
so
passing instruction.
So Nick said just because you're smart at one thing doesn't mean you have common sense. I had my cardiologist show me a scam website while I'm getting a test. Guitars for $5, man. And he said, this is the man in charge of my heart being fooled by a website.
Yeah. 100%.
True that.
There's something to that too, right? Like, yeah, maybe stay in your lane, you know?
Yeah.
$5 guitar. Never.
Is it Timu?
You're welcome, Agent 55. It's a keychain.
It's a keychain.
Really good guitarist.
Dude, sweet Les Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Strings and everything.
Lauren, you brought up a question earlier. Do you remember what it was? What's up, Swivelhead Medic? I do want to talk about this as well. So I think a lot of times, like there's a lot of training agencies that train the most profitable course that they can. And it's a lot of redundancy, right? And I'll give you an example. Every firearms instructor has a pistol 1 and 2. They might have a carbine 1 and 2. And by and large, it's kind of the same information. So it's like, you know, sight alignment, trigger press, grip, stance, right? Reload, which is great. If you don't have those basic proficiencies, get them. But they're kind of cookie cutter until you get into the more advanced stuff. Our class offerings are a little bit different. For example, we have coming up both the 0 to Hero radio operator, which culminates in a FTX, a field training exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, because we, again, on paper versus real life capability are two very different things. Immediately following 0 to Hero, which is a prereq for, we have Tactical Radio Operator, which is a 2-day class that will be taught on the mountain in the field, doing actual commo shots with your actual radio. And I bring that, and then we have an essential responder after that 2-day TAC med class. So if you're traveling for class, you can be here for 6 days in a row, do 0 to hero radio operator, tactical radio operator, essential responder,
It's going to be a busy week.
responder 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week.
Heck
also
yeah.
Comment, we are getting very close to being sold out for radio, so if they want tickets, they need to do it now. We have like 4 and 6 left for both classes.
Great word. Great
Awesome.
word. And I'm glad to hear that. The reason I bring this up is you may have noticed, if you're a Verizon customer, about the last 24 hours or so been a little sketch. Okay, a little sketch. My assessment, this is back-end exploitation. It's not infrastructural because AT&T owns 80% of the subsurface fiber, and most Verizon towers are fed with AT&T fiber. So if it was infrastructural, like if Jimmy on the backhoe hit a fiber trunk, AT&T would have been down as well.
Well, it wasn't just Verizon. I mean, it was across the board yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
So-
what it was.
So regardless of probably Iran,
Yeah.
because of what's happening in Iran right now,
Yeah.
and or friends of Iran. That being said, regardless of why it happened, if you found yourself without the ability to communicate yesterday because your cell phone was down, this is why we have a PACE plan: primary, alternate, contingency, emergency.
Yep.
And so when the primary goes down, if I don't have alternate, contingency, emergency, I don't have commo. And one of the best ways to affect communications is to use radios. And this, I don't know, in the prepper community, the Baofeng UV5R is the darling of the prepper community when it comes to communications. There's lots of people that possess these things, but they don't have proficiency with these things. They don't actually know how to use it. I've heard thousands of times to the point where it makes me want to puke in my mouth when I hear it. I'll figure it out when I need it. So let's just do a comparative analysis here.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
So Brian Brian J said, "I wish I wasn't 20 hours away from y'all so I could get my butt to class."
We have people who come from Ecuador.
We literally have people come from different countries.
We've now had 4 continents.
So
You can do
stop
it.
with the excuses.
Drive. Fly.
We also have RTPs who are phenomenal trainers. If they're close to you, look into them, man.
Did you take your mic off? Okay, good.
Yeah, I took my mic off. I'm being considerate.
If there are training
But-
partners in your area, sorry, in Texas Sheep Lady, I'll repeat what I said. I put a mic on. Brian or Barnes, I don't know if your name is
Yes.
Brian, but send a message to admin because we now have a growing list of refuge training partners who have come, graduated from our Train the Trainer, have gone through the interview process and been approved, and they cannot teach our courses unless they've gone through the
They're
internet.
fully
or-
endorsed and have
Not
our
internet, but-
blessing to train.
Yeah. So
So if there are refuge training partners in your area, seek them out. Go
Yeah.
get training, man.
it's worth it. Like, it really is worth it.
Seriously.
Texas Sheep Lady, what I had said was the Radio Made Easy class, I believe 0 to Hero either has 4 spots left or 6, and Tactical Radio Operator has the opposite. So one of them only has 4 spots, one of them only has 6. And we're only in January, and that class is in April. So it is going to sell out. And last year, we kept having people pretty much begging, please, please, please open up another spot for us. And we did. We can't do that this year because we maxed out our room last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get the seat before it's gone. And it's a great price. Honestly, Evan has his classes priced so well. 100% worth it.
Don't sleep on it.
So James Atley said, where do we find RTPs? They're on the training tab at Refuge Medical.
It says RTP series.
If
Yep.
they have a public class available, it'll be listed on the training tab at Refuge Medical. And we have, listen, I do not approve every person that wants to be an RTP.
No, we don't.
It's the percentage of, there's more that go unapproved, more that apply but are unapproved than there are that are approved. That's done for a lot of reasons. The first is ideological alignment.
Yep.
Do they support the mission statement? Do they support the core values? Will they be a good steward of the brand of Refuge Medical? Okay. The next is, do they have the proficiency to be able to teach? That's part, if you've come to train a trainer, it's a 3-day class, man. And it's not simply, here's the curriculum, figure it out. It's part technical expertise. It's part business development. Do
Yep.
you know how to run a business?
Yep.
And then it's part in how to be an instructor, how to teach.
Yeah.
Right? And because you need all three of those things, you got to be an SME, subject matter expert. You need to be able to teach what you know. And then you need to be able to run a business successfully while you're teaching what you know as a subject matter expert. And if you pull any one of those pillars out, the whole thing collapses.
Yep.
And so when we're selecting our TPs, these are the criteria that they have to hit. And then we don't stack our TPs in a region, right? I don't need 9 refuge trainers in Dallas.
Yeah.
That's too many. I need 1. I need
Yep.
the one for Dallas, if that makes sense. And so we have several RTPs all across the country. I mean, we've got classes in Vegas, classes coming up in Tennessee, Utah, South Carolina, and South Carolina, the reach there is from Asheville, North Carolina to really North Florida.
We have Ohio too.
Yep,
They just
Ohio.
had scheduled.
We've got Houston area. What's up?
Well, I think it's important to clarify too. Train the trainer is still worth coming to if you don't become an RTP, because there's 2 avenues you can take with Train the Trainer.
Yep.
You can either become a community trainer, which everybody who comes to Train the Trainer gets to have our curriculum to teach to their friends, family, church, their people, right? But RTP is a totally different gambit. That is who is going to make this a business. So you can come to Train the Trainer, become a community trainer. You're just not charging for your classes. If you want to charge for your classes, you have to go through the approval process and get set up with us.
That's to use our curriculum, right? If you're going to charge for class and use our curriculum, you have to be an approved RTP.
Yep.
Question. What's up, Christina McFarland? How do you determine where to focus on training? Homesteading, homeschooling mom of 6 young ones, want to prioritize energy. It's a great question. Where are your gaps in functionality? That's where I would look at.
Yeah.
You are statistically more likely to need medical than you are to need security. If we need security, we're likely to also need medical.
Yeah.
Right? The world is also changing. This period of relative peace that we've been in, the global order is being shaken up, and there's a lot of resetting that's going on, coupled with the influx of people that probably shouldn't be here in this country, blah, 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 blah. Watch the Bear Independent Intel briefs, right?
Yeah.
That being said, you're still more likely to need medical than security. And a good class, you come to like one good class, will give you a foundational knowledge of anatomy, physiology, protocols, how to deal with traumas, how to maintain respiratory, airway, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll also illustrate where your gaps are. What else do I need to learn, right? And so there's a proverb for this. The beginning of getting wisdom is get wisdom.
Do it.
Yeah. So I would start with that. I would take a class.
Yeah.
A class. And what your priorities look like and where your gaps are, everybody's are different, right? Like, I don't need 0 to hero radio operator. I got it.
Yeah.
I've got that. I don't need responder 1. I teach responder 1. My kids can teach responder 1 and have. So the training that I do now is more intricate, more complicated, frankly, more dangerous than what a lot of people do. So my gaps are now smaller and they're more niche, but I didn't start there. Something as simple as like, can you tie a knot? Not everybody can tie a knot, not a good one.
Yeah.
So, and there's some things that you can train on your own time. There's this whole concept called the YouTube University. You want to learn to tie knots, you don't necessarily need to go to knot tying class. You can watch a YouTube video, get you a piece of rope, and start tying knots. There's other things, going back to Agent 55's question, that I have to have the automaticity. I need to be able to do it with my hands because my prefrontal cortex, my thinking brain, isn't gonna work.
Yep.
Which means when I have to do it for real, it can't be the first time that I've done it. I have to have some baseline to fall down to. So whatever those priorities look like in your life, then that's, you train to close the gaps in your skill set. And so what your gaps in your skill set are contextually in the way you lead your life is going to be different than everybody else. So my question back to you would be, where are the gaps in your skill sets?
Yeah.
And then that's what you train to cover up. You know, being perfectly honest, I know a lot of women that have pistols and frankly aren't very good with them.
Yep.
Because the idea is, well, if I need it, I'll pull it out of my purse or my belly band or the drawer or the shot box or whatever it is, and I'll just front sight press. That's not enough. It's not enough. I've taught a lot of women how to shoot pistols. And
My wife being one of them.
Great smile, Lauren. That's a huge endorsement. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It was a fun class. We definitely need to do it again, just not when it's cold.
But how much? So we started at, and that's AC.
Crackle pop?
Yeah, it's called thermal expansion.
Oh, okay.
Brain. We started with standing still, building confidence, shooting static targets that aren't moving while we're not moving, at a close range, at 5 yards, and just focusing on. And here's the thing, you know, most pistol classes will tell you we've got to have stance, we've got to have grip, we've got to have trigger press, we've got to have sight alignment. But stance and trigger press go away in a fight.
Yep.
So what we really need to have is grip and sight alignment,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we have to have. The other two are nice to have, but we have to have sight alignment and grip. Because if I have a good grip, I have good follow-on shots, right? And I'm gonna need more than one. That's a whole nother thing. We don't shoot a bad guy one time.
Yep.
We shoot until the threat is down, disarmed, and detained. So in any event, so we start standing still with a near target, no pressure, single shot, not coming in and out of the holster, just at the low ready. Okay, go. Ding. Now that's an eternity in a gunfight. That's too long. But by the end of 4 hours, we're running, moving, pivoting, shooting, reloading in just 4 hours. And so, because if we ever have to use this thing for real, we're not going to be standing still. If you stand still, you're going to become a casualty because bullets can come back at you. And all that to say, whatever your gaps look like, and if we have mental assent to, well, I'm a lady and I have a pistol, so I'm good, possessing it is not enough. And same thing for men. Possessing it is not enough. You have to be able to fight with it. And that's one of the things, frankly, teaching ladies, it's harder to overcome that with ladies than it is with men.
Yeah.
Men want to fight.
We don't.
Ladies don't want to fight. And so then that goes back to your why. You're going to let somebody pick up your kid from the Walmart parking lot and chuck him in a van?
Hell no.
Absolutely not. We're going to put bullets on bad guys as many times as we need to until the threat is dealt with, until the threat is eliminated. So I don't know what your gaps look like, Christina. You do. But I would resist the prepper urge to buy stuff, put it on a shelf, and say that I'm good.
Yeah.
Just like the Agent 55 question, I would resist the urge to put it in a binder and go, we're good. We have to actually do it. And how you stack those priorities, Christina, that's entirely up to you. But if you don't know what your priorities are, audit your skill set. What's the most important thing, and do I actually know how to do it?
Skills go with you everywhere.
Yeah, they weigh nothing and they go with you everywhere.
Just to shamelessly plug in the rec room right now too.
Oh yeah.
Guys, we like we talked about knots. That is going to be one of our modules. I'd like to do a module on how to start training your kids at home. You know, we have a mommy or a mini responder coming up, but the rec room, there's so much value in that. We go over in depth. This isn't like a little, oh, we used to do the 5-minute like medic minutes on YouTube. These are in depth videos. I think y'all's medic or how to build a med plan was like 50 something minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of content
And
you're getting on
chock
there.
full. I mean, it's
so much information.
It's chock full.
We've done snake bites now.
Yep.
Like it.
We've
Really
done the
good
full
stuff.
March E algorithm.
Yeah. S March E pause.
Yep.
Right. And
Broken down into detail.
Sample.
Yep.
Yep.
Soap
OPQRST, soap, all that stuff.
Yep.
Nick asked a question that I want to respond to. I carry without a chambered round because no safety on the gun. Is that smart? It's both smart and not smart. And let me explain to you why. I also carry a gun with no external safety on it. I carry Glocks. Glocks have no external safety. They have a trigger safety. They have a drop safety. There's 4 built-in safeties in a Glock, but there's not an external safety on it. So any gun, whether it has a safety or no safety, this is the safety.
Yep.
Finger off the trigger unless we're going to fire. Simple as that. So is it smart that you're carrying without a round in the chamber because the gun doesn't have a safety? I would say, just based upon that question, my assessment would be you don't have enough training with the weapon.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is smart for you to carry without a round in the chamber. But if you're carrying without having that much experience with the weapon, that's a huge gap. You need to fix that
100%.
because the argument here is what they call Israeli carry, right? You have a fully loaded magazine, but you don't have one in the chamber. There are holsters that have been built to where instead of pulling the gun out of the holster, you push the gun through the holster and it racks the slide for you. So your draw stroke's actually down and then out.
I'll call you back.
Here's the deal. If we need that gun, we need it. If I have to draw my pistol, I need it. Now, how much time is it going to take to rack that slide? Some people argue it's less than a second. A second's a long time. You have potential failures there as well. There's a book called The Guerrilla Gunfighter by John Mosby.
Yep.
Great book. And I like to give credit where credit is due because I agree with this, but Mosby said it in a book, so we're going to give Mosby credit for it. You'll see a lot of people that focus on their sub-second draw, especially from appendix, and you should be dry firing, by the way, with a gun that has no ammunition in it. No magazine, no round in the chamber, triple check that it's clear. You know, chamber is clear, pointing the safe direction, click, okay, rack the slide, dry fire. Come out of your holster, find your sights, click, repeat, again.
We do this all the time.
I probably just not at one time, but probably throughout the day, dry fire 100 times a day, just cause. But Mosby makes the point of your sub-second draw. Yeah, it's good to have, but what's better to have is situational awareness.
100%.
You know, if I'm not actually going to touch my weapon, I don't have one, YouTube, okay? So if it's a sub-second draw and there's a bad guy here, which, by the way, are we going to be standing hips square to the bad guy, not moving? Beep. Is that what we're going to be doing? Okay, there's your sub-second draw. Beep. Okay. Or is it better, like, where's this going to happen? In a grocery store, in a parking lot? In the last gunfight I almost got into was at the gas station up here. Legit. There's a bad guy there. It's a whole long story. We don't have time for it. Okay?
Crazy day.
But here's my point. My gun's over here. Okay? So maintaining situational awareness, I've got my body bladed away from the threat while I'm maintaining awareness with my peripheral vision, and I can just get my gun out and keep it close to my body. Now it's out of the holster. Now let me ask you something. How obvious is it going to be now that you have to rack the slide and chamber around?
Yep.
Okay? Or your sub-second draw, beep, Okay? So you need to get comfortable carrying with a round in the chamber. But if you're not comfortable carrying with a round in the chamber yet, then don't carry with a round in the chamber. But if you're going to carry, and I fully support you and every other American carrying a weapon,
Absolutely.
like 100%. If you could carry an M240 Bravo belt fed, I'd be like, yes, do that. Okay?
Grabbing milk while you're like,
They have slings. Yeah. Hey, babe, get a dozen eggs. Okay. But you need to get comfortable having that round in the chamber, because if we're going to need it, I don't want to have to go through the process of racking that slide. And
Well-
absolutely be dry firing safely.
I think too, it depends on your environment. Are you at home with your kids? You know, maybe if you're gonna put your gun someplace, you do not have it loaded. You know, I'm not leaving where I carry mine. I'm not leaving it there with one ready for. I mean, my kids know not to.
Typically, if we're
My
at the
kids
house,
have grown up since they were this big. They're not
Don't
shiny or new or something. They feel they've all shot, all of them, even
Mhm.
our youngest.
Yep.
They all know. But I'm still not leaving the opportunity. But if I'm going to the store, I probably should be ready.
So, with that, right? If the gun is on my body, it is hot. There is a round in the chamber. There's a fully loaded magazine. It's ready to go to work. If the gun's put up at the house, there's not a round in the chamber. If the gun has an external safety, the safety's on, like AR-15s, for example, right? So I'll have a loaded magazine in the mag well
Yep.
with the bolt forward, not locked to the rear, but no round in the chamber, and the safety is on.
That's
Okay.
exactly how I stage my rifles.
So if I need to grab that rifle, I'll
Yep.
grab that rifle and I'll rack the charging handle, flip the dust cover back up, and then we're up.
Yep.
But if the gun's on my body, it's hot. Same thing. I'm one of those guys. You see all the time, like, I got a truck gun. Cool. I have a 16-inch 5.56 built for night fighting in my truck.
Yep.
It's there all the time. It's hot because if I need to grab it, it's hot. It's ready to go. My threat profile looks different than a lot of people because of the stuff that we do with Caleb House. Point to all this is, should I carry without a round in the chamber? Yeah, until you're comfortable carrying with a round in the chamber, the answer to that's yes. But you should get as comfortable as quickly as possible as you can to carry with a round in the chamber, because you're introducing complexity into your systems by not having a round in the chamber.
And what dry firing is going to do for you is that's going to build intimate knowledge and comfortability between you and that firearm. It's
Said that
entire.
everybody told him it's bad for the gun. If
Uh,
it is, I don't know what you guys are gonna do with your guns.
The Glock on my hip right now is a Gen 5 Glock 17 that has about 8,000 rounds of ammunition through it, and it's probably got 30,000 dry fires on it,
Yeah.
probably. And
I don't know who came up with the idea that it's bad for the gun to dry fire, but
so on a
Submit.
rimfire gun, on a 22 rimfire,
oh yeah, for sure.
the answer to that is yes. On every other modern striker fired or hammer fired polymer frame pistol, you're good. You're totally good. Yeah, you can dry fire safely. Make sure there's no round in the
Yes.
chamber. Triple check. Make sure the magazine is out, right? And then when you're setting the gun up for dry fire, you drop the magazine, pull that out, pull the slide to the rear, visually look and confirm, I see no brass. I rack the slide 2-3 times, send the slide forward, point the gun in a safe direction, click. Okay, now I'm ready to dry fire. Then, and especially when you're starting, put all the live ammo in a different room, okay? Not the same room, a different room. Shouldn't be within arm's reach. And then I'll rack the slide to the rear, go to the holster, and then my current favorite way to dry fire is pushing Eden in the swing on the front porch. And so I'll be pushing her in the swing, I say, Eden. She goes, yeah. I said, tell Daddy go. And so as she's swinging, she just go. And so the swing will be coming at me, and I'll move out of the way of the swing, go, click. And then I'm dry firing against all the turkeys and chickens in my front yard while moving with the swing coming and the time and all that. And I don't know when the toddler's going to say go. So it's great.
That's awesome.
It's
Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Oh my
good
God,
training.
I'm so sorry, everybody. I just sneezed right into that mic. I am so sorry.
Hey, this is real life over here.
Be better.
I went this way. I
Look
should've
at that,
sneezed the other
Bertrand.
way.
I have a rough count of around 1 million dry reps on my CZ-P10 over the last 5.5 years. It's all original parts plus somewhere between 5.5 to 6,000 live rounds. See, there you go. How do you feel about using dummy rounds when dry firing? I have some, and I've used some. Makes no difference to me. If I have them, I'll use them. I also have the Mantis training system my wife got for me. And so if I'm in my office at home where my Mantis is, I'll slide the little laser in the barrel of the gun. And what's cool with that is it puts a little laser dot wherever you were aiming. So you get that immediate feedback of, okay, well, that wasn't a good trigger press or whatever. Don't go too fast when you're starting out dry firing, okay? Again, what we really want is grip and sight alignment, and then watch your sights when you press that trigger. We don't want this front sight to be moving around. It needs to stay on target, then press the trigger. Okay, then reset. And call your shots. If you missed, oh man, that one was low left. What did I do that was wrong? Well, my grip wasn't right and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
or I was in a hurry.
And what I typically teach, especially, I was teaching the law enforcement in Georgia. It was like when you're dry firing your pistol, which you should be doing, you can stair step this training to where you start out, okay, draw, press. Do I have appropriate sight acquisition?
Yep.
If I don't, my finger is never touching the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reset, redraw, press. Okay, now I have good sight acquisition. Pull the trigger,
Right? Or
and
something.
just work on sight acquisition first. Just work that sight acquisition, and then once you get that down to where you cannot mess up the sight acquisition and your press is perfect every time, then I'm going to start pressing the trigger. Rack the slide, press, sight acquisition, pull the trigger.
Yep.
Reset.
W2S Actual said, and remember to bring your sights to your eye, not your eye to the sights. 100%.
Yep.
That's a big part of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes into building that automaticity.
Absolutely.
It depends on there's a million variables, but depending on how far away the target is and how much accuracy I need, that guy, the dummy right there, shoot him in the head. I don't even have to look at the gun.
Got it.
It's just there. You don't even have to look at the gun. Boom. Top of his head comes off because he's 2 meters away.
Yep.
2.5 meters away. We were doing this with some law enforcement students as well, talking about the reason that we breathe, right? And we want to maintain breathing is so that we can maintain our peripheral vision.
Absolutely.
And what clearing looks like with a rifle, because they were missing so much stuff because they were hyper fixated on their pistol front sight on the target. And so now they're tunneled in on the target. They're right here and they're missing all of this information.
Yep.
And I was like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Nope.
And they're like, what do you mean? I said, okay, I'll give you an example. All right. So I've got the rifle. I've got it pointed at him. And I said, I'm going to scan. I'm not even going to keep my eyes on you. I'm just going to scan, actually move my head. And whenever you're ready, I want you to just go ahead and try and raise your right arm. They're like, all right. And they'd go like this, pap. The moment they'd start to move their arm, pap. They're like, how are you doing that? I said, it's real easy. I'm keeping you in my peripheral vision. I've got the weapon trained on you. And the moment you move, pap.
Yep.
They're like, holy crap. Yeah. And so depending on what we're doing, right? And we want to use as much of this as we can. Baseline peripheral vision for the average human being is 150 to 170 degrees.
Yep.
use that. We need that, especially in a high-speed dynamic environment. And if I know this person's a threat, right? I know this person's a threat, and I'm still scanning, right? And they start moving. I see the movement in my peripheral vision, and then target discrimination, hands, hips, head, whole body, right? I see they're moving, and I can see it in my peripheral vision. I'm just going to move my vision back to it. Yep, shoot or no shoot, shoot, pap. And it's that fast. So all that comes from reps. And so you have to do those reps. If you're not comfortable having a round in the chamber yet, great. Don't carry around in the chamber, but get to where you are. Tour Prepper asked, would dummy ammo be helpful for someone who's trying to get comfortable having a round in the chamber? Yes, but it's not any different than having an empty chamber.
Yeah.
So what you never want in a real world scenario is click. Okay.
Yep.
Speed, surprise, violence of action. Okay, we've lost speed here and surprise, and we're having a problem with violence of action. So, all right. We'll do a little bit more, then we got to get to work. Chew faster, weakling. Guy put my sights on and didn't zero. I must now buy a rear sight tool and re-zero. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Let's see, what else? My wife wanted me to tell you guys, our nylon kits are in production right now. And so we're having our average lead time of like 4 to 6 weeks on nylon for any nylon kit that you get. But the vacuum sealed kits like the slick kit, bleeding prevention kits, desk kit, whatever it might be, those are shipping hot and heavy.
Buckets.
Those are moving fast. What's that?
Buckets too.
Oh, and buckets too. And we have
Refill kits as well.
refills as well. We have a big order of tourniquets coming in today.
Yep.
So that's cool. Harmony was told Ian this morning, she's like, it's tourniquet day. And the baby was like, I don't know why I'm happy right now, but it's tourniquet day.
Yay, they're coming in.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of stuff coming. I've brought this out before in the past, and everybody, hopefully by now, realizes I'm not fear-mongering.
Yes, Steve.
But when Ukraine kicked off, still in the history of our company, Ukraine kicked off February 24th, 2022. March 2022, gross sales, highest ever in the history of the company.
Yeah.
Because everybody was reacting, okay? And then October 7th happened, and then everybody reacted. And when COVID, we were a little tiny company when COVID first hit, right? And people were reacting. And all three of those data sets, COVID and Ukraine and then Israel, Hamas, have shown me what this trend looks like.
Yep.
And we're starting to see that trend again as far as availability of stuff. It's been inching towards from available to questionable availability to unavailability. And we've been in questionable availability for about 6 months, and we're inching towards, I don't know if we can get that anymore. So
I mean, think about it this way, right? Russia, Ukraine, all of that good stuff. 25 years ago, Vladimir Putin spoke directly to George Bush and said, hey, I would like to enter NATO.
mm-hmm.
They said no.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they wanted a hot war with Russia. And they've been trying to push and perpetuate and move pieces into place all around Russia. And that's why Ukraine kicked off. There's a lot of details that go completely unnoticed surrounding every bit of what's happening right now. So I say that to say, be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Be knowledgeable and understanding of the times and the signs of this season that we are living in today, and make your decisions accordingly.
Knowledge weighs nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The Arkansas 11 said any plans to partner with Simmerwell on the kits he's putting out. Not currently, although I do absolutely recommend Simmerwell.
Yeah.
We've had zero discussion to that point.
Did you say Arkansas Living's here?
Yeah.
Hey,
Sup,
just so you
Arkansas?
know, we are looking into the Cap C stuff right now. It is a lot of hoops for us to jump through, but we are looking into it.
So
Awesome.
get what you need while you can, and buckets are in stock, shipping fast. The vacuum sealed kits in stock, shipping fast. Refill kits, all that, and don't sleep on the opportunity to train. We have a lot of classes in 2026,
Yep.
and I want to leave you guys with this. The current assessment is 1/3 bad. 1/3 bad.
Yeah.
That means it's 2/3 good. Okay? And so the world does not need to end in order for you to have a first aid kit. The world does not need to end in order for you to carry a weapon. The world does not need to end in order for you to have some utility in knowing how to use a radio.
Yeah.
All these are everyday things for me and for us, and we live on a homestead. We live rurally. We don't have that many medical professionals in our county, and they're not as trained as I would like them to be.
You
And
still drive a truck. Tornadoes still happen. Floods still happen.
Exactly.
Life is continuing on regardless of the geoeconomic and political state of the world.
The 160 plus lives saved had nothing to do with war. Just saying. Well,
Yeah.
that's not true.
some of them,
Some of them did,
The vast
but the
majority will
did
say
not.
that.
yeah, far more civilian uses than military uses.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of law enforcement saves as well.
Yeah.
A few dozen law enforcement
Great
saves.
job.
And so all that to say, we don't need the world to act crazy in order for us to have the skills and the tools that we should have on us for the preservation of life. And so don't get all bummed out because of what's happening geopolitically. See the threat. That's great. You know, there's a proverb for this: the prudent man foresees the evil and hides himself.
Yep.
Not from cowardice, but from a preservation of life standpoint. So be aware of the evil that's happening in the world so that you don't participate in it and it doesn't act upon you. But just understand in normal everyday life, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to use a first aid kit, to have to use a weapon, to have to use a radio. And so we have lots of classes in 2026 where we teach these things. I would strongly recommend that you come to them. They're a blast. We've had people from 4 continents come to class. Most recent class that we did, Train the Trainer, we had people from South Africa and Ecuador in the class.
Which is more than 20 hours away.
Brian Barnes, you just beating him up, huh?
He already said thank you.
Brian Barnes is a good dude.
I like Brian.
Brian's a good
He's a good
dude.
guy.
So if there's anything we can help you with from a medical standpoint, feel free to call the store, to hit us on the chat function on the website, which is people, not robots, and shoot us an email. And if you're wondering, is something in stock or what's the lead time on something, just call the store. We're here to serve you. I can get you everything from a piece of gauze to multiple field hospitals and everything in between. So whatever we can do to serve you, please reach out and let us know. Do us a favor, share the show with somebody you love, and I'll see you guys when I see you.